Hi everyone, my name is Erin. I'm with Earth Angel Sanctuary and Learning Center. This is our episode for the month of July, but before we do that, I'd like to extend my appreciation for you using this as a resource or tool. Whether you're using it independently, with your friends or family, thank you for not letting distance get in the way of your intuitive development. If you would like to reach me or to look at more information, you may visit our website at www.earthangelsnetwork.net. So let's go ahead and proceed for the month of July. So reasons to channel. Well, if you channel a light being, it would be to receive information going on with you, others, or the earth. So for instance, if you channel in one of your angels, you might ask them what would be your highest and best good for you what to do this year. Or maybe a hobby that you should try to explore, or how to increase your intuitive connection with them. If you're channeling like a light being, for instance, like Gaia, you might want to know why the earth is going through all these changes. Is it the way that she's feeling? Is this just a common occurrence? Many different reasons. So these are ways that you can tap into channeling using from light beings. So let's say you also do deceased loved ones. Sometimes when beings leave the physical world, it might not always be in a happy moment. It could be very sudden or very tragic, and it leaves you wondering if they left at peace. Some people feel a sense of guilt and shame or extreme sadness because maybe that last time that you touched base with them was not a happy connection. So these are ways that you can find out how they're doing, and they can see how you're doing and know that they're at peace on the other side, and then they're always with you and watching you. Sometimes we can also channel other spirits from that world. Sometimes a being might come to you and they haven't understood why they've moved on. For instance, in people's, there's haunted homes, churches, cathedrals, buildings, and sometimes these beings don't even realize that they have actually crossed over. So they need a medium or someone to help them move to the light. Or maybe they still need something fulfilled. Or maybe they still need a message delivered. So that's where the channel steps in to allow that to happen. But the underlying reason, if I was to sum it up in one word, reasons to channel, it's mostly for healing. As we've seen with Teresa Caputo on Long Island Medium, people transform as she's delivering these healing messages from people's loved ones. They go from a place of negative emotions that no longer serve them to a place of allowing love to come in and healing light, where now they can move on and be fulfilled. And it's quite beautiful how someone can utilize their gifts and change perception of the world and bring so much joy to others. So if you have this ability, it's a great ability to start learning to work with and start bringing healing for others. So keys to channeling. You should always have confidence that your information is truthful, and always ask for the highest good for you and for all those involved. You should not feel scared, but completely amazing afterwards. If you do feel scared or you're unsure about the session, this is a good time to talk to your parent about the information that you feel or that doesn't sound good, or maybe even your feelings. For example, there was Edgar Cayce, who was the sleeping prophet. He was known to go under hypnosis into a deep trance like asleep and would receive his intuitive information. Well, once word got around about it, people would start using him for horse races and gambling. Afterwards, he would start getting a headache and not so good feeling, and he was starting to question what was going on in his sessions, because when he woke up, he was unaware of anything that transpired during his channeling. So that's when he started bringing in his wife to sit down on his sessions to make sure that it was always his gift was used in a proper way. So if you feel depleted, scared, unsure about anything that's happening, if you don't have any consciousness of it, please talk to your parent. And your parent can either find you resources or someone to help you learn how to control that gift, or just be there in your presence when you are out of your body or channeling information. And so the best way to always start a channeling is to always set an intention that something good will happen, by always saying, how can I use this information to help someone? And if you are always coming from an intention in a place of love, you will always bring them healing and the messages that they need. So common experiences during channeling, there are so many others, but I'm going to talk about some key points here, and the mostly is by physical signs that you can see. Number one, very big, is their eyes. Some people channel with their eyes open, some people channel with them closed, some people alter. If they do channel with their eyes open, they could appear much wider than they are when they're in their normal physical state, or they can appear smaller than usual. Physically, they could look different or even sound different. You could even channel an accent from a different country or civilization. Other things that you could experience are temperature shifts, like hot or cold. If some of you are really sensitive to energy, you can definitely feel the change in temperature. Your heart rate can increase. You can get prickly sensations and a pressure around the body, especially the head or neck. Because the information is coming from a higher source, that is mostly connected with our third eye and crown chakra, but mostly the crown chakra. So you'll feel a lot of sensation going on around your head, some maybe itchiness, tingling, tickling, whatever it feels like to you. Some people even feel expansion in the heart or even heat in their hands. So it just depends on how sensitive you are and what you'll use as your clair that might heighten during these sessions. So types of channeling. Channeling can be categorized in many categories, but I'm keeping this as simple as possible. It's either direct or indirect. So direct means it comes straight through. There's clear communication. You hear a voice directly. I mean, there is no question. So let's say you are channeling someone's deceased loved one. That loved one could come in and say, I'm very proud of how you chose to honor me by planting a memorial garden. That is as clear as can be. And so you can deliver that message just like that. Sometimes you might get indirect channeling, where the medium has to interpret impressions of personalities. So for instance, if you're a clairvoyant, you might get pictures, or you could get symbols. And that's how your communication team, also your spirit team, communicates with you, and so do whatever is on the other side, physical being, non-physical being on the other side. So they send these impressions to you or symbols to you, and you have to learn how to interpret. For instance, this picture below, you can look at the plant and you have to guess what that means to you and what that image signifies. If you see somebody planting a plant, that can be completely different. Or if you see someone tending the garden by pulling the weeds, that can be completely different. If you see a flower versus a vegetable, those all mean different things, but here it's just the plant, and then you have to interpret that. You might even have to relay the previous message or the following message that comes after that, and maybe make a sentence out of that and figure out what that means.